necessarily really his fault that they lost the game or anything like that, but perhaps they want to give Kellen a chance, at least here in Game 2.
Yeah. Well, we're jumping right into it. Gen.G banning the Cassiopeia. Now remember, the thing is that T1 on R5, and for those that might not know, I'm referring to Red Pick 5, they had so many options. It wasn't just the Cassiopeia, so if they draft in a similar manner, they can still find themselves in the same problem. Hi, Xayah now. These were the problems.
Yeah.
No.
It's not like there are over 100 champions in League of Legends that can do similar things to the ones that are being banned right now, but Gen.G were not happy with Teddy and Faker on those, and they're not happy with MF.
But Lucian is making it so far, so is Syndra. Actually,
welcome to the Nexon Arena. A couple of T1 fans.
Yeah, just a couple of T1 fans. Yeah. Not quite sure who, but
never seen those people before. But yes, welcome down. Welcome down to the studio. Great to have you. I was talking with them before.
Yeah. They helped me. They helped me become League Supreme.
Yes, they did. They helped you out. Hey, I did as well.
I couldn't have done it.
I put my work in. I put in my tweet.
Their help was more akin to Gandalf.
Okay, that's true.
You're sort of like the dwarf.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow. I can't believe you'd say that.
It's all right. You're always Legolas in my eyes.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so we're having a mirror pick one, which worries me because it might mean that Gen.G's conclusion when they went backstage was, yes, it was the Xayah and Cassiopeia, not the champion. There's so many other champions that could have done a similar thing to them. And I remember I was listing off some of them, so this isn't real. So Elise and Varus locked in right now for T1. Mundo being hovered, which is very peculiar. If they actually go and lock in Nautilus and Rumble here, we're going to have some issues. Valdez, that's even worse.
How about
Valdez?
Timmy? Timmy's making his way back. Oh, boy. So, maybe this is a response to the Varus. You can pick your Tahm Kench Senna. So, I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm just saying that in Gen.G's mind, they're like, okay, we can pick it earlier, and we can pick away the Tahm Kench from Tahm Kench Varus.
All of the mage supports right now ruin what Gen.G has drafted on B1, 2, and 3. Every single mage support destroys
Koreans still play mage supports.
But of course not. We're going to have a handshake here. We're going to get Nautilus, or we're going to have Rakan, Nautilus, or maybe Braum.
Hey, Varus Braum, that's a good bot lane. That's high tier, LS.
I can't deal with it. I really can't.
We were having this discussion earlier on where it seems like Koreans love to draft high tier rather than like do their compositions. And
yes, and if you've ever played interestingly enough, I was talking about this with you before the broadcast.
Yeah.
There's formats in trading card games that are actually around limited card selection. In Magic, you have limited, which is draft. In Hearthstone, you have arena. I'm unsure if Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! Have similar formats, but in those modes, there's sometimes ladders on Magic Online or obviously Hearthstone, which I don't think has a ladder, but there are certain people that can get very high rated, and there's a reason for that. Yeah. Even though players in Constructed are professionals or very good, they might not excel at Limited. And so drafting is very similar to that. It's very akin to it, but instead what we see is just power picks get picked left and right and center. And like I was saying last draft, unironically, Aatrox made his way through. And it's the perception of what is going on is very interesting. So
it feels like something you would do at the beginning of an undiscovered game, right? It's like, oh, this champion seems really high level. And they do that every patch.
Right.
Where it's like, on this patch, this is, they load up LS's tier list, and they're like, hey, I see
There's
this
no
is
Annie
S
here.
tier. Yeah. Let's pick this on this patch. And they're gonna ban away Aatrox, and then Rumble is the pick here. So they're stacking actually a lot of magic damage so far. You'd have to imagine that they'll have to pick something that can counter somewhere with some 80 on the side of T1. Here's their last pick.
All right, well, Rumble being locked in is on theme with the Elise, but T1 is a bit all over the place right now with their draft. Gen.G going to round this out now with Rise Mordekaiser. So Mordekaiser does have a way of stifling some of T1's champions right now, and Rise is obviously fantastic at short quarter combat. So interestingly right now, Gen.G, the ones up currently with the leg in draft, and T1, they're going to pick another champion that dives onto Gen.G. So even though they're staying on theme, it does come at a cost where now Gen.G, they have the invert to last game. Rise is going to be able to conduct himself similar to how KeSPA was. Mordekaiser, you're jumping on him now. So he's going to be able to proc his passive. His ultimate is going to demand that some of T1's champions stunt their build. And now Gen.G, interestingly enough, they have the champions with more scaling thematically. So it's going to be really interesting. Now, can Cuz on this Elise manage to accelerate any of the champions? If Rumble gets ahead, yeah, he's really obnoxious. If Camille gets ahead, she can turn into a win condition. She can eventually get to a point where she runs through Mordekaiser, but now T1 are in the same responsibility as Gen.G was in Game 1, and is Cuz going to be able to pull through because the responsibility's on them now?
Well, we saw that Khalid kind of failed to pull off that 2-on-1 in the dive in game number 1. Can Cuz do the opposite here in red side in game number 2 is a big question. Lots of pressure on to Cuz. We'll see if he can do it here as we jump onto the Rift for game number 2. See, the Gen.G fan did it again. I feel like he has to elongate his cheerlead, the beginning of it, so that everybody can kind of get on the same page. If you're just like, Hana, there's it, nobody's gonna be able to follow that up all in the same time. But he
did it.
He lengthened it a little bit. Okay, he improved. We're all about improvement here. And do you feel like the drafting overall has improved in game number 2, or are you still kind of no?
We're hitting blanks.
Okay.
I know. I'm negative Nick about this. Okay.
Negative Nick.
That's what you can call me. I'm not quite negative Nancy, but
okay.
We're arriving at final team comps by chance, regardless of who has the edge. That is very apparent. So, sort of like picking Hearthstone cards at random and then having an overpowered deck. Sometimes that just ends up happening. So in game number 1, it was T1, and now game number 2, Gen.G have the edge the longer that the game ends up going.
So,
although Rumble, he will be strong.
Yeah.
Obviously, Rise isn't as nimble as KeSPA.
So we were talking a little bit about the game state and the Dragons in game number 1. We didn't mention too much about the Rift Heralds either, but just in general, do you feel like the game now on this new patch in the preseason favors the scaling comps still? Because I feel
even more.
I feel like your opinion from 2019 was that scaling comps were king.
So what typically ends up happening is that in spring season, everyone's still getting into the groove, they're coming out, and much better teams, and I'm talking about the highest ends, LEC, LCS, LCK, LPL, the best teams in the region can pick whatever they want and still win games. Because their players and their cohesion is so much better than the opponents, that it doesn't really matter all that much about the drafts. And this can mislead people when teams like G2 or Fnatic or teams like Team Liquid, or if T1 or of earlier this year, Griffin, Dom1, pick very aggressive comps and blow games open wide and accelerate really fast. But come summer, come the end of summer, Gauntlet, Worlds,
yeah.
You can't get away with the same stuff. And mid-rangey type of team compositions and scaling becomes a lot more apparent and obvious, and it was something I harped on all throughout Worlds on Twitter, stream, whatever.
Yeah.
And now we're here. The changes to preseason, turret plates got hit, turrets got tankier, dragons suck. Everything is sort of aligning even more so.
There's 2 Rift Heralds, though.
Oh, yeah. and one can't even actually be used against turret plates.
Well, we got some action here trying to knock up Teddy as he is all alone in there. The Devourer comes in as Effort not able to sufficiently defend. Another knockup gonna come in. Effort will be forced to flash away from that one. And with the TP coming on in now, Kellen going for one last lick. And will get away either way. As a nice little gank there early on at about 3.5 minutes to get Gen.G on the board.
Yeah, they got the ball rolling. And remember, they're the ones that have the luxury. They have less responsibility on them to make things happen. And so starting off with an advantage is obviously going to be really big because in response to what happened bottom, he's going to steal away, or attempt to anyway, all of the blue side jungle here, but Klid's about to come over the wall.
Sees him all the way. Cuz is going to hit level 4 and confidently is going to strut out in spider form there, not scared of the Rek'Sai that he saw coming a mile away.
Meanwhile, up here in top lane, Kana doing pretty okay in the CS department right now. Has a 11 CS lead, and this is really early on, and I think they're going to stockpile, yeah, they're going to stockpile 2 waves, and then try to crash on Rascal, but...
Even Faker's coming up.
Yeah. Okay, Rascal doesn't seem to be sniffing this out. There's no pings, and it looks like Rek'Sai is clicked on the right side of the map, so I don't think anyone knows this is about to happen. I also can't see what BDD is doing, but he's
Look at Rascal trying desperately to stop the wave, and he's doing it, but is it going to be enough? He's going to flash away, and Rascal is going to get away from 3 members diving him. Can he now, though, is the question as the flash comes in, and that is going to be the end of the game for Rascal as he survived for quite a while up there. Did a nice job, but it wasn't enough.
And the thing about this is that Faker, he has teleport available. BDD was out of mana, couldn't crash super quickly. And so after he recalls, he's going to be able to teleport. Love what Effort's doing, checking on the dragon. That would obviously be a response from Gen.G, and I'm really surprised that they didn't do it. They saw when T1 was starting top, Klid could go over the wall, and dragons are a lot weaker. They're a lot easier to take now. And so with BDD being able to just come back, yes, Faker has TP, but maybe a little bit of lost opportunity there. And so the game is going to be almost even now in gold. But remember, T1, they have to do something.
Ooh, Faker trying to go 1v2, lays down that equalizer. Now he's on the run, and Klid, a level 4 Rek'Sai, is going to be quite squishy, so they decide not to follow up on that one. Faker, with no flash, actually used it in the gank up top side, so that's why they were trying to get that gank down, but Faker hitting level 6 is going to have much higher use than just a Realm Warp out of the Rise in a straight-up skirmish in the mid lane.
Yeah, and Cuz able to find out where Klid is right now. He's also up a level, and so he's just latching onto him. Teleport.
TP coming in here as they get the lockdown onto Effort. He does not have this. The Realm Warp now coming on in, getting everybody in the mix, and Gen.G is going to shut down 2 members just like that. T1 not able to back away in time, and they get punished in the bot lane.
And this means that they should be able to convert this into an Infernal Drake capture. Faker doesn't have Equalizer, but instead, Klid's actually just going to go over to his red. Teddy didn't have TP. A little bit surprising, but they're not investing into it. As BDD is going to run back into mid lane right now. Faker looking for any wards, as we can see on the minimap. I think T1 are actually going to get the Infernal Dragon, so this is a bit weird. Now remember, it's not as big as previous dragons. Just take a look at Rumble right now. 77 AD, 22 AP. He got 1 AP.
23.
Oh man, that's a Keck W moment right there if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
But Got a little bit of AD. As we can just see, Cuz can't really do anything here. Really interesting that he even chose to path into that. He ended up having to blow his flash. And now Gen.G, they're the ones with the gold lead. They have to just make sure that they don't lose out on every single dragon.
Yeah, generally not a good idea. If that happens and the enemy team gets 4, then they're going to get a Dragon Soul of some sort. And we are looking at either a Ocean Dragon Soul or a Cloud Dragon Soul. So we could have one of these teams picking up the 2 of them. And you mentioned how important the Ocean Soul was for T1 with their scaling comp in game number 1. What about here in game 2?
For both parties, Ocean is really, really, really obnoxious. If either of these teams get Ocean, it helps both of them conduct themselves against one another. Cloud Dragon Soul doesn't really do all that much, although I guess it's a little bit better for Gen.G. Mostly because Rascal on that Mordekaiser, just being able to have access to it so often, the Death Realm could definitely be obnoxious.
Trying to set up a play here onto Kana.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
And this is also so surprising. Clit is actively looking to make things happen, but the onus isn't on him or his teammates. And again, it's the responsibility word. Ryze just needs to basically go even. Mordekaiser just needs to go even. Senna and Sir Tim down there in bottom just needs to go even. And because of this, look at Clitty. He's trying to force stuff that doesn't need to happen when his champions are already better, or his teammates' champions. And so he's going to be slow to the blue. He's going to be slow to his golems, slow to his raptors. Effort and Teddy, they're just trying to shove in bottom. 2.5 minutes until Mountain Dragon. But we saw what it meant in game number 1. Doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, it's pretty much absolutely nothing. I know Absolute has a...
Only Sith steal in Absolutes.
That's why I said pretty much, because definitely a light side cast here, at least from my side. I have to keep the balance in the Force, as you're basically
Sith.
as
right here.
As Sith as it gets.
Yeah, the rule of 2.
Yeah. You gonna see that new Star Wars movie?
You know what? You're actually invited.
Am I invited? I didn't see the last one.
There's 8 people at my house right now, by the way, all the pro players. But
okay, I was hoping to tilt you with that. But
we're gonna bring Max. You're welcome to come too.
Okay. What about Seth? You didn't invite him?
Oh, is he still gonna be here?
Seth?
Yeah. I don't know what his schedule is.
Yeah, I mean, I assume in January 8th that he should be around.
Yeah, we're all going.
Yeah.
We're all going.
We're all going. Okay.
Who's your favorite Jedi or Sith? From the movies or comics?
Again, so I didn't see the last movie, so I don't really... I heard there was like a new Jedi, but is it that...
What, you like Kylo Ren?
Well, I don't really know much about him. I only saw the first one in the sequels.
Okay.
He seemed like a little bit of a crybaby. Wasn't my favorite, actually. Yeah. Who's the other Jedi? Who's like his counterpart?
Rey.
Oh, she's a Jedi?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, I don't know if she has the title.
Oh, okay.
But
so it's like some kind of gray area?
I don't know, actually, about the movies. Like, Finn wields a lightsaber, too.
Really?
In the first one. Oh, we gotta fight.
Look at this. We got a Death Realm Kana. Can he get away from this one is the question, as, well, Rascal not willing to get in range of that one. Flash comes in, but the deny from Kana. Just laughing at him as Rascal flashed into that one. But so did Kana. So at the end of the day, trading the flashes and the ultimates come in. But Mordekaiser is going to have the push advantage, and no TP here for Kana in the top lane.
And Mountain Dragon's coming up in 15 seconds. So we'll have to see what ends up happening there. Also, interesting Faker with the Oblivion Orb and a blasting one. It would be a real shame if I saw him purchase a certain book.
First item.
I would actually really hope that the gods of Summoner Rift would just punish him with a Cloud Soul, so there's not even an argument about Ocean Drakes.
Oh, Faker, you're in a bit of trouble getting hunted down by the Rek'Sai, but he's Oh, just barely going to go down as he goes over the wall, as everybody collapses in, even Ruler from downtown helping out with that ultimate. And it will pick up that first kill onto Faker.
Well, in doing so, they're going to use this Rift Herald. This Rise is going to get so big. Valdez, it's really early, but I'm going to call the game.
Okay. Okay, so 13 minutes, 19 seconds.
Yeah.
That's a bit earlier than last game. Last game was about 28 minutes when he called it.
This one is definitely looking really rough.
Boy.
Yeah, he's dead too. So the reason that I'm willing to call it, even though it's a 2,000 gold advantage, the better scaling team comp has the 2,000 gold lead, and just everything I imagine is going to progressively get worse. And Mountain Dragon, it is kind of bad, but at least the team that actually builds resistances on some of their champions is the one getting it.
Yeah.
So I suppose in that regard, it does help out. And there's the Cloud Dragon, just to punish the Morello.
Yeah.
So Faker was sinning, he got caught.
Well, you know, he hasn't built it yet, so he could change his mind.
You know it's coming.
Right? So how much is it? 550 to complete that item?
It's coming.
Was it 450?
Just wait until he recalls.
There's no.
All right, let's
he
take a
has
look.
the decision. He can make a decision not to make it.
Now, we have to wonder really where Cuz is going or why. They're never contesting Mountain Dragon, even if they were on it. So there it is. Moment of silence.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right, official moment of silence for Morel and Omicron.
Let me take a photo really quick. Hold on. I've been doing these on the cast lately. Yeah.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna make a. I don't even know.
We talked about game one, how it actually began to make more and more sense. You know, like the 1 out of 200 games where it's like, okay, Morel and Omicron, not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Where does this game rank compared to game one in terms of
this is something.
Morel and Omicron?
For Morello. This is really something. So, for a lot of people that don't understand the criticism about Morel and Omicron, first off, Leandre's Torment deals amplified damage. It gives you madness. 10% more damage on everything that you do. Right? Gives 300 HP, gives the AP, gives the percentage HP burn. And then Rumble, his equalizer, turns out it's a pretty good item. Rumble also stacks Leandre's really fast.
Yep.
So, Oblivion Orb is the item that actually gives you the 200 HP and the Magic Pen and the AP. For a whopping 1,400 gold, you get 50 ability power and 100 HP and Grievous Wounds. But the enemy team, it has some healing in it. Sure, congratulations. You're going to deal way more with Leandre's.
Bit of a skirmish here on the bottom side. As you can see, Cuz they were desperately trying to force that fight, but even Clid was coming down. So at the end of the day, you saw that T1 was like, no. The cocoon doesn't land, and now Rascal going in. Up on Takana once again. No flashes this time around. Is going to deny that one with his ultimate, but Rascal is going to be able to pick up the one-on-one in the top side. Mordekaiser getting stronger and stronger, and now picks up a solo kill here at 16.5 minutes.
Mordekaiser's only going to keep getting stronger as well. As we're going to have to wait for the team fights. And Gen.G rolled really well with the Cloud Dragon. I mean, the RNG is definitely on their side. Having that available on Senna, if they can end up getting to it, as well as Mordekaiser, is going to be really big. And things just look really doomed for T1. So again, remember, I called it about 4 minutes ago.
You did. I mean, I'm keeping track. So it was about 13-18.
Well, we're going to take a look at the replay first as to what happened. That was obviously a really nice grip right there onto Kana. He tries to outplay it, actually dances forward needlessly. So obviously, he had a decision. He could have gone and done some things a little bit differently leading up to that trade, but ended up dying for it. So again, in draft phase, we're able to outline the conditions of all the champions against one another, 5v5. And then we use the word responsibility to express what necessarily needs to happen in order for A team comp to be better than B team comp. And then all that you have to do is watch the first 8 or 10 minutes unfold And oftentimes in pro play, one jungler is going to be getting screwed a lot harder than the other in terms of what do they need to do, what do they need to accomplish. And so Cuz couldn't really do anything this game. And also bot lane starting off with the death, Teddy having to TP back early into the lane, being pressured as early on. Things just weren't going well, and so Gen.G, they're so far ahead right now. 4,000 gold really doesn't express it. It would probably be much better if it was like 6 or 8K on the screen to help people understand, but it's definitely very good. And you know what? I actually love what BDD built. He built a Banshee's Veil. He's making use of that Mountain Dragon even a little bit more, but it's such a good item against T1. Makes it that much harder. Faker, well, let's see.
Okay, they're going in 2v2, but we got Cuz and Effort coming in from behind. Faker taking a ton of damage, though.
Yeah.
He's going to get sniped by Ruler from downtown. They're looking to turn it onto BDD, but here comes a Death Realm as Mordekaiser trying to go 1v1. And it's not going to do the damage, actually. It looks like he's in there with Teddy. And Teddy actually outplays the Mordekaisers over the wall. Kana is going to get his revenge.
T1's turning it.
T1 is absolutely turning it here as they went a bit too far. Gen.G did, and we're not quite able to pick up all the kills. It's only Ruler now against 4, as he is forced to flash away even at the backside of this fight and cannot catch up to Kana.
And so right there, Gen.G, they made a decision to try to pick off Faker, but Rumble, he is pretty durable. He has his shield, he has the HP item right now. We'll take another look at it. You can just see Faker sitting there patiently, gets knocked up by Clid, but BDD didn't quite have the damage to annihilate him right away. The ultimate came in from Ruler, but Cuz was waiting, and Effort able to get there as well, and it was much like the Avengers. T1 just showed up to sort of help Faker, and this really lessened the gold gap, and it's making the game much closer than it was just before all of this transpired. T1 still behind, but definitely put a breath of life in them. Yeah, T1 are going to get the Cloud Dragon now.
They pick up the Drake. They get a bunch of kills in their favor. And we talk a lot about how scaling teams, they don't necessarily have to force the issue. It's not their responsibility to accelerate the game. They could have as easily sat back, but instead they fought into a TP disadvantage, it looked like, as there were 2 TPs to 1, at least in the fight. As you talked about the Avengers, T1 was able to get there earlier than Gen.G was, essentially. And even though Rek'Sai did the assassination, he also got assassinated, as he's very, very squishy, and Cuz was able to stay alive in that fight for so much longer than his counterpart jungler. So just trying to force the issue a little bit. You know, I know they've got a very strong Rek'Sai, and they thought they had a pick onto Faker, which is always tempting, but not necessarily the right move given the game state here. So they give that Drake away. They give a couple of kills away. Now on Vision here, though, is T1 up in the top side. So Gen.G gonna gain some nice information from that.
Right now, nothing too chaotic should unfold in the next couple of minutes anyway. And T1, I mean, if they want to come back into this, it's going to be through Gen.G taking fights that they don't need to, running into the Rumble. Now, Rumble, if he's behind and if his team's behind and he's equalizing offensively, feels kind of bad. But defensively, Equalizer tends to do things a little bit differently because it's guaranteed surface area that you get to play around and dance around rather than the opponents having a say, typically. So right now, they just need to wait. Leandri's going to be coming up soon on Faker. Varus right now at 2 items, but Gen.G, every item that they get does matter just as much. 3 minutes until another Cloud Dragon. Baron isn't realistic for either of these teams right now, and at 22 minutes, this is the ping pong phase, where it's very hard to force something or make it happen unless a team typically makes a mistake. So Gen.G, they can comfortably sit back and keep scaling if they wanted, or they could try to force a team fight.
Well, they're at least flexing their muscles a bit here, as they've got a nice little fanned out setup here. They wanted to use the Rift Herald here, surely, to get one of these turrets and get more map control and extend their lead, you notice they're not trying to force fights anymore. They're just like, okay, let's push in, let's fan out, get a turret, and back away. They're not going to be diving or anything like that at this stage of the game. And so they get a nice amount of gold extra. Plus, of course, the mid turrets are always going to be incredibly important for map control. And we should go back to just throwing the waves back to each other.
Freeze. Freeze.
You gonna be okay? We got the lights off here, at least this time around, so you can stick around a little bit longer. I mean, he's Rumble. He burns things.
Well, he has a lot to do right now for the next 2 minutes. There's a cosmic force compelling him to be somewhere. Where is that, Valdez? Tell me.
Baron.
Oh, yes. I see. Wine glass. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, I know. It's weird that you hadn't thought of that. I mean,
yeah.
It's a big objective.
All right. Makes sense. It does make sense. Now, here we go. Senna's going to push in this wave, and let's see what Varus does with it.
Look at Varus. He's running.
Hold on, hold on. Now, we could freeze in mid.
He can't wait. Wait, he's charging out that piercing arrow right now.
Gen.G can't do Baron. And let's see what Varus did.
The wave's gone.
He ate it immediately. Perfect.
Yeah, nice. I mean, he's got blue. He can piercing arrow. I mean,
hold on, hold on.
And he's gonna get all his mana back.
I wonder what Senna's gonna do right now.
And do it again.
She pushed it in. She pushed it in. Now, nothing's happened. It's been 1 full minute. Let's see what Varus is gonna do.
I love the sound that Varus makes too. He sounds so happy when he's charging up his laser.
He's grunting. Yeah.
Well, we do have a Cloud Drake coming up here in 30 seconds. I could see, you know, we have seen teams pushing mid to try to gain map advantage when there are objectives coming up. And T1, right? They're only 2 Drakes away from the Dragon Soul. So
yeah. Well, now would be the time to actually, yes, unlock waves and look to actively do something. But they're pushing a top tier 1 turret, so a couple hundred gold there. That's very important.
Hey, he's got TP.
Yeah, and it looks like they're actually just going to give away this first Cloud Dragon. I think that they're waiting for completions on items. Bloodthirster, I think, is really close for Teddy. And interestingly, if Teddy hit tab, he would see double Morello, I think, is potentially staring him down. So, not entirely sure. Why not just go a Wit's End instead? You'd get the attack speed. It would synergize with the other items. You'd get the resistances.
No, but we don't build Wit's End. That's not in the recommended items,
yeah.
LS. That's not an item that people build. It's not high tier.
Well, Morello now completed on Rise.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, you got a couple down there for the
there's a lot of healing.
The Varus auto attacks.
T1, and I know that I just talked about Bloodthirster, but it's something.
Yeah, you know the Morello for Senna Mordekaiser. I'm like, okay, you know it's all right. It's not the 1 in 200, but I'm not gonna lose my head over it. But the 2 Morellos on the side of Gen.G, I'm definitely in the lost sanity column here in game number 2. Look at
the ping pong. I wonder what Varus is gonna do right now.
Oh, he didn't charge up his Q. I thought he really enjoyed that. They're looking for a pick now as Kana going a little bit too far forward, and he's gonna be punished. Effort nearly getting punished. Had to flash away from that one as he was in total vision plus the tremor sense, and there was no real hope for Kana. The Rek'Sai pick comes in, and Gen.G with their lead will continue to push down the mid lane. But again, they don't have the best siege, so instead of going for that, okay, they're gonna try to go for this. Faker wanted to shoot him down as they were getting into that ultimate, but they do all Realm Warp onto the Baron, and now there is no equalizer for the Baron fight, 4v5.
If Cuz steals this,
it's going to be up to that. Take a look at Cuz. Faker over the wall. Cuz over the wall. They're going to burst down. Rascal can't get the dragon. No, they will not. The Baron is going to go the way of Gen.G, and everybody is going to be cleaned up. A quadra kill for Ruler as he lines him up and takes him down.
And so Gen.G now with the Baron, they're going to be able to bust open an inhibitor at the very least. Kana, the only one remaining. It actually looked like T1 were maybe going to be able to steal that. But we're going to a game number 3 almost for sure at this point. There should be no way back into this game for T1. But we've seen some games where miracles happen. This Baron, after the reset, they are all pooling hundreds of gold each right now. We'll take another quick look at it. Faker right there on the edge. He flashes in. There's a blasting cone a couple centimeters north of him, but Rumble's suit's a little bit too heavy. And then Cuz goes in as well, not able to get the Baron, and T1, they get aced.
Yeah. They got Senna there at the end. She had just so much room in front of her. Like, if you're all going to pile into one pit against an AD carry that is quite fed at this point, and it's not even just the AD carry, it's, you know, just going all in like that just to try to pick up the Baron. You mentioned the blast cone. Both Cuz and Faker did flash into that one. I suppose they wanted the reliability of making sure they got into the pit rather than any interruptions or anything like that. In the end, it did not work. They picked up 1 kill, I believe, onto the Mordekaiser, and that is about it. The rest of them were able to push down, take an inhibitor. The game is still going on, but as you called, at about 13 minutes and 19 seconds, the scaling team extremely far ahead now. The Senna 6-0 and 5. The Rise has almost 4 items. I don't think T1's going to be doing much in this one, as the Equalizer comes down to clear the wave. And that is about it. As, Ruler's kind of fed now. Doesn't really give a damn about what T1 is doing on the Rift.
And Kana, I mean, he's trying to do whatever he can right now. He knows that his presence isn't necessary at the base. They're not going to be able to fortify this regardless. Equalizer not available right now on Faker. Baron minions, Mordekaiser. He has teleport, but his recall's not fast enough, so he's not going to be able to teleport on one of the minions. Actually, might just go bottom to stop Kana, rather than teleporting for the 2 inhibitors. So they're playing this much safer.
The engage comes in. They're looking for Faker here, but he's got a Zhonya's, and now the TP is going to come in. No TP from Kana just yet. He does have it, but he's holding on to it. And now the push, 5-on-4, is going to continue onto this inhibitor. They will take it down as 4-on-5 T1 not willing to take that fight, and they will go later and later into this stage of the game. As Kana is going for the Cloud Drake, but it won't be a Dragon Soul. Gen.G perhaps trying to shut this down as they are rotating, and Kana is in a bit of trouble. Has to hookshot away and give that one over to Gen.G.
And so now they're extremely close to the Cloud Dragon Soul, and it's really big for Senna and Mordekaiser in particular. Obviously for T1, had they captured it, it would have been more so for denial purposes than anything else, because virtually no one on their team really cares about the bonus from the Cloud Dragon. And I think Mordekaiser is building Banshee's Veil. And so again, they're making use of those resistances. Rise with Rabadon's Death Cap looks like he's going to be his next item. There's a lot of magic resist that's present on the side of T1, so wondering actually if Void Staff...
Nah, he's got Morello. He's fine.
Okay. All right.
Don't worry.
All right, I'm fine, Valdez. Yeah, don't... Talk to you later.
There is actually a...
We're going to be in a lull state a little bit. Okay?
Yeah, okay. Hey, Varus started building with Tent.
Weird how that works.
He's...
What is your New Year's resolution?
He's getting to it. I'm going to go back to the gym.
You and everyone else?
Yeah.
All right, I'll ask you again on the 3rd. Never mind.
No,
that's fine.
I'm starting actually not on New Year's, but after I come back from New York, January 25th.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of a delayed one, but that's, you know.
That's Lunar New Year.
Yeah.
This year. January 25th.
Oh.
I don't know why I know that.
Yeah, why do you know that?
I don't know. As soon as you said 25th, I saw
You just knew.
Yeah.
You had it set up. You have that calendar on your wall already. 2020. You're getting excited for more Korean drafting in 2020.
I'm not gonna make it.
We still got a whole other series and another game after this one. I hope you can make it to 2020. Faker is already getting zapped down, and that's going to bait effort in, as nobody's really getting hit by this equalizer. Klid has GA. He's fine to go down here. Faker now in his Zhonya's, but in a bit of trouble, as he was in the Death Realm. Should be burst down, as Klid is going to snipe him from the back line. That's going to be the 1 kill into potentially another one, because it's going to survive, actually, so the inhibitor will go down. Looks like Gen.G are not going to push for the win. Oh, actually, they are sticking around, and here we go, pushing on in as they have a couple of waves with the super minion in the top side. 5-on-3 with some damage health bars, because it's going to get locked down and get sniped here. Nearly gets knocked out, but does have that repel. Is essentially going to be out of this one, as Kana, Teddy, and Cuz desperately trying to hold on to the base, but the turret is being chunked down, and they are going to hold on to it for now, but they're fighting back here. Perfect disengage and re-engage from Gen.G. They take out 2. Teddy trying to auto-attack them down, but he just gets wiped up, and that is going to be a double kill into the win for Gen.G here at 34 minutes. GG.